This is a quick guide for Kil'jaeden, the final boss in the new Tomb of Sargeras raid in World of Warcraft. This is also the only boss required for the Deceiver's Fall achievement. Please note that all of the points in this guide are from a ranged DPS perspective. The first ability that will pop up is Armageddon. This will spawn several smaller red swirls on the ground, as well as one large one. You'll need people standing in each of the swirls to soak the damage, otherwise all players in the raid will take 3 million damage and a further 850,000 over the next 30 seconds per swirl that is missed. Understandably, this is a very important mechanic to get right, though is very easy if organised. The large swirl will need to be either soaked by a tank or another player with an invulnerability, such as Aspect of the Turtle, Ice Block, etc. It's important to note also that you will get a debuff which deals ticking damage, so you'll only want to take one every second Armageddon to avoid getting more than one stack. Fell Claws is the next move, and should mostly only affect tanks. Make sure you are behind Kil'jaeden whenever this is cast to avoid taking unnecessary damage. Next up is Rupturing Singularity, which will lower a purple orb into the middle of the platform. You need to stack up around the green centre to avoid being knocked off when it lands, but not too centre that you are killed by the damage drop. I find the best place to stand is on any of the green diamonds. They're nice and close and you'll have no chance of being knocked off or damaged excessively. At 80%, the first intermission phase will begin and Kil'jaeden will take flight. This phase is purely about surviving as he takes 99% less damage. Armageddon will continue throughout this phase also. A new ability up at this time is Bursting Dreadflame, which will surround a number of players with a large red circle. All marked players will need to spread out to the edges to avoid hitting unmarked players and overlapping others too much. The second new ability in this phase is Focused Dreadflame. This will mark one player, who will need to get behind everyone else to spread the damage. This is just like Incorporeal Shot on Sisters of the Moon. The Dreadflame will deal 8 million damage, so it's vital that this is shared between as many players as possible. After 1 minute, Kil'jaeden will land and phase 2 will begin. All previous abilities will continue, however new in this phase is Shadow Reflection Erupting. This will be cast on 3 players, and once the debuff expires, 3 mirror images will spawn. You want to have the marked players stack up on the boss so when the adds do spawn, you'll be able to cleave them down quickly. They'll constantly cast Erupting Dreadflame, which deals 370,000 damage to all players, so it's vital to kill them down quickly. Rupturing Singularity will happen again in this phase, though we'll begin spawning in the corners. Just make sure you're close enough to not get blasted off the edge, and you'll be fine. The second intermission begins at 40% health, and Kil'jaeden will plunge you into darkness. You'll need to find Illidan as soon as possible, so you can see the shadow souls in the dark. It's a good idea to have someone call out where he is, or ping on the minimap to get there swiftly. You'll need to keep returning to him throughout this phase to keep your vision buff up. Kill all of the adds as quickly as possible, and engage phase 3. Darkness of 1,000 Souls will be cast almost immediately upon entering phase 3, and this will hit all raid members. It'll deal 3.6 million damage to everyone, as well as 485,000 every 2 seconds for the remainder of the fight. It's important to have everyone stacked up here for large heals, and it's also a good idea to use reflective or defensive cooldowns to avoid the initial tick if possible. Kil'jaeden will spawn demonic obelisks around the platform, which upon detonation will deal 2.5 million damage and knock all nearby players back. Make sure you keep an eye on these to avoid getting hit by more than one, unlike what I did here. The final ability Kil'jaeden will cast is Tear Rift. This will appear as a large green circle on the ground, which you'll simply want to stay away from for most of the encounter. However, when the boss casts Darkness of 1,000 Souls again, you'll want to move to the rift so it can soak the damage for you. This is absolutely critical for surviving phase 3. Continue on managing all of these mechanics, there certainly are a few, and you'll get your kill. You'll also be rewarded with an epic cinematic, as well as being able to see Argus wherever you are on Azeroth. Congratulations on completing another tier of raiding. If you found this video helpful, please hit the like button or subscribe to keep up to date with loads more achievement guides coming soon. Thanks for watching.